I would eventually never be working with my dad. So I thought it's really cool that I say to him that I don't want to be a part of your business. I'll do something. But then later on, I was thinking, like, fuck what I've said here. Like, I'm already 24, 25. My friends are doing well. I have nothing to do.
What's the maximum you've charged so far
So I've charged 1.5 lakhs.
for a reel?
Yeah. I was like, even if I start a business, that is the first thing I would be looking at. There's always one thing that is in common with think about the target audience. Business is not for me. The content is not for me. The content or the business or the products are for the audience. It all starts with the audience. You have to understand them really well. Short content, if it goes viral, it will go down as well because the saturation point is very close. So as a content creator, you have to plan many things. It's not just creating a reel and posting it, hoping it will get viral. As a content creator, I also have to think about that, creating more content. That what if my content suddenly is not relevant?
Hi, everybody. So, how would you feel about building a successful following of over 1 million followers on Instagram without ever showing your face? Now, my guest today has been able to achieve just that without ever revealing his face on his Instagram page. Hrishiraj Sugre, aka Pixoury, which is his handle name, by the way, has built himself a brand that sits at a very interesting intersection of digital illustration, graphics, music, and Bollywood. Hi everyone, I'm Hardik Vaidya, and on this episode of Jamsters, I'm thrilled to have Hrishiraj, aka Pixoury. Welcome on Jamsters, buddy. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Hardik. Thank you for calling me, and thank
So,
you for the
Hrishiraj, I think you've
lovely
had
intro that you have given.
my pleasure, man. You deserve all of it.
And thank you.
It's been such an interesting journey because I'm sure most of the people who are listening to the podcast have some point in time either shared your work, appreciated your work, come across your work in some form, shape. Um, I'm very curious to know where did this all begin from because I know for a fact that you were not initially anywhere into digital illustration. Our listeners must know this, and what's the backstory? Let's go with that first.
It's a really long story. I'll try to keep it short.
Sure.
Actually, I am here accidentally. I never planned to be in this space. I always wanted to be a professor. I was actually studying for that. So I did my master's in international business. Then I applied for the PhD in the same subject. I was supposed to fly to France for my PhD, and then some circumstances, they forced me to stay back in India because there was a bond, and I was not willing to sign a bond of 8 years and go there. So I stayed back. Then I was like, what to do? I don't know anything else to do. I applied for a job. Then my resume got rejected multiple times because I wanted a salary which Indian market wasn't offering for a fresher or MBA. So I was like, I thought I am a failure because I have nothing else to do. My dad is a successful businessman. I told him that I won't be joining his business. So that bridge was also burned. So for me it was really difficult. But then I started learning graphic designing to make my presentations look good because I wanted to give presentations to colleges in India who can supervise my PhD, the subject I wanted to do, and then get hopefully get selected for a place there. So I was studying graphic designing for that, and then that's how I was introduced to this space. And then I joined a few online courses. I learned few things about logo designing. Then I started designing logos for my friends and family members. It really got like I got many referrals for logo designing. So I was doing just that. So I started a company with my friends, school friends, study buddies. It tanked like really bad, and we were earning like 6-7 thousand per month, and then we used to distribute
Wow.
those between three of us. So it was really bad. We thought we will never fight because we were friends, but as soon as we started earning more, then there were fights. Basically, we were not fighting because there was no money to fight. But as soon as
Hmm.
there was money in the system, then it all started. Like we had to, just separate. Then I started my own company, which is Pixoury Media Private Limited. So I was in brand idents. I was designing brand idents. I did some for some news channels, which I would name. I worked for news channels. I designed logos for jewelry brands, and then COVID happened. Lockdown started. Just like I was in like 4-5 months in Pixoury, and lockdown was there. Now suddenly I don't have the portfolio. Now I'm pitching clients online. That doesn't work because you have to meet clients upfront if you don't have a good portfolio, because then you can show them your emotions. And
True.
then the clients started dropping. Everyone was uncertain in that period of time because there was lockdown, COVID was new, pandemic was new. And I thought, I should do something which, at least entertain people. Forget about the business, but at least I shall entertain people so that I gather some audience. That was the basic thought behind it. So I thought, what to do. I started few concepts. I did logos. I posted logos on Instagram. It didn't work. I posted few social media messages, social messaging. I started doing that. That didn't work because there's a lot of competition in that space already. So I thought I should create something unique, which can entertain people, and which I can really add value to that type of content. And that is how I decided I'll use graphic designing as my skill to satisfy people's content desires, that is Bollywood, the songs of Bollywood. And then I tried to mix those two things to create a video. Firstly I thought of posting static posts like art of Ritik Roshan or a portrait of some superstar. But then I thought that, like, there's already competition in that space. I need to do up something, I need to do something different so that people will come and watch. And that is how I converted those images into animation and then posted it. The first reel I first, it wasn't a reel, it was just a video. I posted it. It was on Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara. I posted it thinking nobody will watch, but Ritik Roshan watched and liked it. He then Farhan liked it, and then my account blew up.
Very cool.
That is
Very
the
cool.
story behind this.
So, I think I want to unpack a few things. You've mentioned some very important pointers, which I think I want to bring to the attention of our listeners. One is that you fell into this. This was not the original
Yeah,
plan.
yeah,
That's one. Second is that you started off the business with your friends, which ultimately tanked
yeah,
because A, when you were not fighting, you had no money only,
yeah,
right, to fight over. But when money came in, it became an issue worth fighting. Very interesting point. And other thing is that you mentioned that your dad already was into business,
yeah.
and you mentioned that you did not want to get into it, or the doors were already closed on it, is what
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
shared.
yeah, yeah. Basically, I closed it for myself. I thought,
Hmm.
I would eventually never be working with my dad. So I thought it's really cool that I say to him that I don't want to be a part of your business. I'll do something else. But then later on, I was thinking, like, fuck what I've said, like I have burnt this bridge. Now I don't have a job, I'm already 24, 25. My friends are doing well. I have nothing to do. And when you come from like upper middle class family, there's expectations from your
Hmm.
friends also that you will wear certain type of clothing, and you will hang out at certain type of places, and all. That wasn't possible for me because I was not earning. And
Hmm.
because I told my dad I won't be joining his business, he was also not supporting me financially. Like, thoda bahut
I
de dete the,
understand.
just a pocket money ki, you know
Just to
Wi-Fi का
survive.
bill. Yeah, just to survive.
So what then was the reason for you to transition? I understand that you wanted to do something by yourself. Obviously, that
Yeah,
was the
yeah,
driver. इसलिए you started off the brand agency with your
yeah,
friend as well.
yeah, yeah.
But you saw that उसमें पैसा नहीं बन रहा है. You're not taking enough money to be able to even grow the business. Forget like you know
Yeah,
making actual good money out of it.
yeah,
So
yeah,
when was the transition of okay, let's stop it. Let's not do this. I will cut cords and I will move into something else. When did that
yeah.
happen?
So basically, if you Google things to do, like startups ideas, top five business ideas. In India, everyone who knows nothing about anything, he'll start a digital marketing company. That is how I ended up doing that thing. I started a digital because you don't need anything. You don't need office. You don't need inventory. You don't need any type of skill. You can just outsource the work. Talk to clients, outsource to some freelancer and earn commission. That's how we started. But later on I decided you personally need some kind of skill to earn money. You just cannot live on commissions because the market changes. People now find freelancers online. They don't need you to be in between. So that is how I realized I need to learn something, skill. You need some kind of skill to survive. So that is how, then I thought, what are my interests, and then it all lead to graphic designing, and that is how, I just focused on
That's a
that.
very, very good point. You also mentioned a little while back in the conversation that you wanted to do something unique with
Yeah,
Pixoury. I mean,
yeah,
you knew that a lot of static work anyway exists,
yeah,
but you found like a very interesting intersection. I'm reminded of something what the Dilbert comics that are there
uh,
actually, right?
no, I
So
don't.
okay, so the
Yeah,
guy who founded and is the originator of this concept called Scott Adams, right?
yeah.
So he mentioned something very interesting is that he is not a very good storyteller,
Mm,
he's not a very good graphic artist,
mm,
but he found the intersection to be
yeah,
the best and he made a killing out of that. I'm probably not correctly quoting him,
yeah.
but that is what essentially what the idea was, that he was not the best at in the individual game,
Yeah.
but when he combined the skill sets, that became like a whole different league. I think you figured very interestingly a space for yourself. I don't know how, I want to unpack that definitely, but you figured ki one, two, three, four elements, let's mix it up and let's do something. Tell me
Yeah.
more about that.
That credit goes to my master's in international business. So I was studying in Singapore. It was a French university. So we were taught, about TG. We were taught about target audience. What are the problems to solve in an audience to run a successful business. That is what I was studying for a while. And then I thought, I need to build an audience. See, hardly not just audience. I wanted it to be a community. I don't want it just to be a passive audience who will just consume the content. I want it to be a community which can defend itself, which can advertise itself, which can grow by itself. So if you look at brands like Harley Davidson, if you look at brands which have cult following, we say it's cult following, but it's basically a community now. We Apple users,
Agree.
they will kill
Absolutely.
you if you talk bad about the product. That's the power of the community. So I wanted to build a community. So to build a community in India, you will have to find the interest that Indian audience have. So that is how I found Bollywood. Then I have to look, what I can do to get into that space, because I can't act, I can't dance. I have such a bad, I don't have rhythm in me at all. If you play some music, I'll just stand. I won't even do this because I can't. There's no rhythm. So then I figured out, what can be done in this space. I can't lip sync. So I try to fuse these things. Just to get that audience. Now I'm working on making that audience into a community, so that they will defend the content. They will power the content. Basically, they will get what they want. That is the whole idea behind Pixoury. That is how I'm working towards it.
Wow. Very, very, very interesting. I think the whole game around creator economy, and which now the mainstream brands are also realizing, is the power of building a community, because essentially they are the people who will
Correct.
be your advocates, the ambassadors of what the
Correct.
work you do, right?
Correct.
Um, I understand at the brand level, at the mega level, when they have a lot of resources, people,
Yeah.
marketing budgets, and PR budgets.
Hmm.
As individual creator, were you this clear, Rishiraj, that you wanted to build a community from the start? Like ये आपके दिमाग में clear था शुरू से?
Yes, yes. Not in just this field. I was like, even if I start a business, that is the first thing I would be looking at, because, as I told you, I belong to a business family. So there's always one thing that is in common with, in my family and my course, that was to think about the target audience. Business is not for me. The content is not for me. The content or the business or the products are for the audience. So it all starts with the audience. You have to understand them really well to. So that is what I was working for. I failed with two three concepts, as I told you. I was doing logos, posting logos on Instagram, and then I started posting social media messaging. That also didn't work, but I was working towards it. But I can say this for sure, that nobody can plan success on social media. It just happens. You
Very
cannot
true.
plan to be viral. That is clear.
So your initial days, Rishiraj, what were you experimenting with? What kind of content formats, content verticals, content pillars you were trying to experiment with? And then when did you find the mix? Ki, haan, this seems to be working very interestingly well.
So, I used to search for hashtags, what I'm doing. Like if I'm doing Bollywood song, I used to search for the hashtags relevant to that space, and then check what is the content that is being made, and then see if that I can make something which is not here, so that
So
it
give me an
just.
example. What does that
So
mean? Give me an example.
basically, when I search for Bollywood songs or Bollywood, like we all need WhatsApp status now to share it on WhatsApp. So I used to type like WhatsApp status, Bollywood status in Instagram hashtags, and then look for what are people sharing. So basically, there were lyric videos, vertical lyric videos, a background, and then just plain lyrics going. So then I thought, I should make something which is not in this space, like which is something different from this, so that people will first look at my video and then they'll check another type of content. And I was clear that I want to create a content which will be shared, like people will share. That is how you will get viral. Until and unless your content doesn't get shared, you can't get viral. So I wanted to make something which is unique, which is not like the lyric videos or anything else. And it will just be unique. So I created few videos. Then I thought, even this might not work, because I created a video in which the animation was too much. Then I thought, it will take a lot of time for me to create a video every day, because there will be no
Hmm.
consistency. Then I thought, how can I reduce the time of my uh, process?
Creation.
Yeah, content creation, and then see if I can post every day. That is why my earlier animations, or even now, I create really small animations. The reason is not that I cannot make a full-fledged animation movie, but the reason is I want to post every day. So people say, "Hey, why don't you add more
Hmm.
moments?" I want to be consistent right now. Once I get an
Very cool.
audience, the audience will wait for me. Then I'll start creating short movies and short animations.
Oh, that's a fantastic, fantastic way of looking at it. So, you mentioned that you were also doing some logos and posting static
Yeah,
images
yeah.
earlier, right? Are those initial content pieces still available on Instagram, or
No,
you've removed
I've
them?
deleted them, but they
Okay.
are with me. They are in archive.
Got it. Again, I would love to understand when did you find yourself getting on the breakthrough path? Was it Hrithik Roshan's and
Yeah,
Farhan
that.
Akhar's like?
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
that the breakaway point for
No,
you?
actually, I'll tell you interesting story. There's a Facebook page called Subtle Curry Trades. I don't know if you have come across. It's a small,
No, man, not aware. Hmm.
small page. So I posted the video there. First time I posted something, because it's a real. I knew the audience there is looking for Bollywood content. So I posted that, and I got 3 4 comments on that. It's so cool, and that is how I understood I should first post it. I posted the video. I used Sam Dam Dande, because I knew whenever I post the video, it won't be viral just like that. So
Of
I
course.
promoted the post. I boosted it. Like I spent
Oh,
around
nice.
1,000 2,000 rupees on it, and I boosted. Nobody knows about this. I'm talking about this for the first time. I did that. Then I gained few hundred followers, and it was new, so people jumped up on the content. And I promoted first 20 videos for 500 to 600 rupees on Instagram. I never thought it's a copyright violation, because I thought what I was doing is correct. But after 25 videos, suddenly my account was banned, because
Wow.
Instagram by then figured out that I am using audio which is not mine, and I'm also advertising the videos.
Hmm.
But by the time they banned me, I already had like 10K followers with me.
Hmm.
So they were eventually waiting for my content. So I knew that now I have the audience. As soon as the copyright issue is solved, I can create new. That was the time Instagram Reels also was introduced around November. Now
Ah.
I can use the music. Now I can. Now the challenge was to create vertical content. But I did that. I deleted all the posts. I have 10K followers. I started posting reels with the same song. The account got viral. So people don't know. People just think that the account gets viral. You have to use everything. Sam, dam, done. But if this doesn't work, you have to do that. If that doesn't work, you have to. I can't advise you to not use paid ads. I can't tell you to just stick to one thing. It never works. You have to experiment. You have to do everything that can get you to the initial phase of getting viral or going viral.
That's such an important point, Rishiraj. I think as creators, so many people out there get stuck in the process thinking that just the quality of my work will help me break out, or just being good with my work will help me break out. I think that is the bare minimum. That is the bare minimum. I think
See,
the other part which you've mentioned, yeah, go on.
yeah. So do you find quality on Instagram? Be honest.
Um,
I don't
some
even.
yes, some no,
Very
man.
few, like the majority of the content. I consider
Correct.
my content even is not a quality content, because it is not enriching someone's life. I consider my content also be a part of the content which is right now a short content, we can say, which
Hmm.
is not
Hmm.
enriching anybody's life. It is just for
Entertainment value.
entertainment value. You can think about quality if you are working on YouTube or podcast like you are doing, because that will eventually, even if you have one person who is listening to this podcast, he will actually work on it. So that is how, that is the power of this podcast. But if you're talking about millions of views on Instagram, it's not inspiring anybody, it's not enriching anybody's life. It is just I'm taking a shit, I'll just look on Instagram. That's how it is. So you have to always be thinking about where you are posting your content. If it's YouTube, it's if for podcast, you have to always think about quality first. If you are on Instagram, TikTok, any short for platform, quality doesn't make any sense. You just have to give what audience want.
Wow. Wow, you've hit something very important, Rishiraj. I don't think I've actually looked at it that way.
Yeah,
For me, honestly, I have thought of creating content from the perspective of only quality,
yeah.
right? अगर quality है तो डालो वरना मत डालो because there is no point, right?
Mm.
But here you come and tell me कि Hardik, if you look at podcasting, absolutely, because someone is into your ears, listening to you for that entire duration, you have to provide quality content. There is no two ways
Correct,
about it.
correct.
You tell on YouTube, absolutely, you have to provide quality, which you come in and tell. But here you are telling that Instagram pe, it's about views, it's about gaming the system, it's about getting the views out, so it's not necessarily about quality.
Yeah.
What is your advice then, yeah, what is your advice then to creators who are in that initial phase of understanding, breaking out? What would you tell them then of becoming viral on Instagram? I know there is no rule, I understand, you
Yeah,
told me a little while back,
yeah.
सब try करना पड़ता है,
Yeah, yeah.
but what would be your pointers?
The pointers are only go with the trend. That is what I'll say now, because now everything is driven by trends. Nothing else. If you use the trending audios, just take a photo with it and post it as a reel. Maybe it will get viral because the audio is viral. We see now reels are even of 3 to 5 seconds. You might have also come across it. So it
Absolutely.
doesn't make sense if that reel reaches 10 million views. It's just of 3 seconds. That doesn't make any sense. That is how social media is working. But see, if not, it's not about getting one reel viral. People think my one reel will get viral and I'll be okay. That's not the thing. You
True.
have to get all your reels viral, or majority of
Very
them.
true.
That is
Very
when
true.
people will pay you to showcase their brands, and you'll get brands, you'll get collab requests. That is the time you will start earning out of social. People think, I'll post something which will get viral. I'll post something controversial and I'll get viral. That's not the people will watch it
Hmm.
once and then forget it. How many accounts, how many reels have you watched which are of million views, and you don't even remember who posted it, what was it about now. So that is how
Correct.
it goes.
And at any point in time during this phase, and I'm sure you make it sound so comfortable because you make it sound so clear in your head, but I'm sure when people try, when they people put out material, I'm sure it's not very clear for them, right? They're trying, they're experimenting, they're trying to see what works, what doesn't work, whether this will become a trend or not, worth
Mm,
doing
mm,
again and
mm.
again. But I'm sure, is there a method to the madness? Is there some discipline behind the scenes that we don't know about Pixoury?
Yeah, so the discipline is that you create every day. Whether
Okay.
you're
Okay.
sad, you're upset with someone, you don't feel like creating sometimes. Your health is not good, but you still have to do that. I don't have weekends anymore. I'm married, but I don't go out much. I'm always stuck with my laptop because I have to post. That there's a pressure that I have to post a reel every day, and it takes me 6 8 hours. Now I'm adding more take to it, so now I'm taking more time to create one reel. But now I'm enjoying it because that is what I'm doing now. But I also know that eventually I'll have to do something different, in the sense that
Hmm.
short content, if it goes viral, it will go down as well, because the saturation point is very close.
Very
With
true.
YouTube and podcast, what happens is the growth is like this, it's slant. So saturation point will come somewhere here. But in the short content video, you go viral like this, and the saturation point is right here. So people, even I will get bored watching my reels saying, ye kya hai yaar, same. I'll watch original songs instead of YouTube.
Hmm.
I don't want to watch
Okay.
these stupid animations.
Interesting.
I'll watch the original videos. They're spending crores on rupees on original videos. I'll go and watch that. So as a content creator, I also have to think about that before creating more content, that what if my content
Hmm.
suddenly is not relevant? What is my plan B? How is this account going to sustain? So I'm thinking about that. I'm already working on that also. So as a content creator, you have to plan many things. It's not just creating a reel and posting it, hoping it will get viral. You have to think about your audience, you have to think about your skills, you have to post the reel every day, you have to be consistent, then you have to plan things for this not work. You have to plan many things, you have to see what other platforms are doing, go there, start posting more videos.
So now that you're also seeing a lot of YouTube promoting shorts as well, right? And I
Yeah,
think people
yeah,
want to build some traction there.
yeah,
So are
yeah.
you seeing like similar issue of quality as well on
Yeah,
YouTube
see,
coming, that people are
yeah,
just
yeah,
gaming the system
yeah.
right now?
See, now everything is like this. Whichever app will make
Scroll,
you
all
hold,
scroll
if it makes you hold your phone by one hand and you are using one
makes you
finger,
scroll. Yeah, yeah.
then you are successful. That is how everything is think.
Hmm.
Everybody is thinking. Even Twitter has now come up with videos,
Hmm.
scrolling videos. So future is that, but the thing is, I am definitely sure that it will go down. The reason is the content is very short. It is not adding value. So there will be a time when people will again switch back to longer duration of videos. If not, then there should be a series of short videos. People will look for series of short videos. For example, podcast of Hardik, where I'll get 30 seconds of short clippings from it, but people will eventually move to longer type of content. It's just a phase. I believe that I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, it's good for me, but I believe it's just a phase. It will go away soon.
How do you deal with copyright issues? If this was on YouTube, this
Yeah,
would be a copyright claim for all the
yeah,
songs, right?
yeah,
And this
yeah,
would not be monetizable.
yeah,
On Instagram, this is not an issue.
yeah.
Were you clear from the start, Rishiraj, that you want to use Instagram only as a platform for growth because there is no copyright issues and claims?
See, Adik, who will watch my videos on YouTube? Now, if you search for a song on YouTube, you want the original song. You are not looking for something which is pirated. The reason is you want good quality of music, which only the original content creators who are posting the labels, music labels. You will
Right,
definitely look for, T Series or Sony to play that song.
right, right.
So who will? So I was clear that nobody will go there and watch. Now there are people who have copied my content, created fake Pixoury accounts on YouTube, and they're doing well. But good for them. But I knew it. It won't be a thing there. Now they have tried, but it gets stuck around 5-6K for subscribers. There's no money out of it. So why waste energy? I'll put my energy in platforms which are doing better. But now I'm creating Pixary's original music. I've recently released my own song, which is Share Kiya. So now
Fantastic.
that is actually my plan B. So if this fail, then Pixary will be a music label. I'll be uploading new music videos on YouTube, original videos. I'm hoping
Very
it.
smart.
Yeah,
No, for sure. I think that makes a lot of sense, because I think from what you're telling me, it sounds as if as a creator, you must constantly be innovating. You must constantly be
yeah,
making yourself redundant in the process.
yeah,
That how can I beat my own self?
yeah,
Because someone else will eventually beat you to the
yeah,
game.
yeah.
You beat your own self before that.
Correct. See, Hardik, I still feel there are so many better artists. I don't feel I know. There are better artists, there are better creators who are out there, but they don't have the followers, they don't have the numbers. So they are discouraged. Now, if they are discouraged, they will not be consistent. And if they are not consistent, they won't ever make it. So I get so many DMs from great artists saying, how are you viral and how are we not viral? So the
Hmm.
answer is, you have to be consistent. But if you are a real artist, you will always go for the quality. The quality will take time, and you won't be consistent.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
a really bad thing, It's not something really great that we should celebrate. It's a bad thing that good quality content is discouraged by posting regularly.
I think I was talking to this issue about how someone who creates once in a while material, but very good material, but the algorithm wants consistency. They want
Yeah,
more
yeah,
content to be
yeah,
pushed out from you.
yeah,
So it will not be a priority unless very important people share or a lot of people share. Only then it will become. right? But someone, for example, you mentioned that for you consistency has been a very big thing about daily rituals of posting, whether you like it or not,
Not
whether you're in
really.
the mood or not, whether you
Yeah.
feel good or not, you
Yeah.
keep posting come what
Yeah.
may.
Yeah.
Algorithm will eventually favor you.
Yeah. Then you have to post relevant content. Like I won't be posting a animated reel one day and then lip sync video next day. That
Makes
will also
sense.
not help you. You have
Makes
to be
sense.
consistent with similar type of content so that people who are coming to your profile they see, "Ah, Arre Baba, this guy is posting same thing so that I can follow this type of for this type of content I'll follow this account." That is when they'll follow.
Hmm.
If you're posting too many kinds of things, that is why I never post myself, never post picture, because I know if I post a picture of myself, people will go.
I think there is almost like a segmentation that I can see, that the initial phase, whichever period and whichever long that phase is, however long that phase is, it's about experimenting and seeing what fits right.
Yeah,
And once you hit a certain sweet spot,
yeah.
you keep on playing to that advantage of yours till the
Yeah.
time you find yourself breaking into that bigger leagues. Is that
Yeah,
right? If
yeah,
I say that?
correct, correct. And once you find that point, you have to work for something new, new type of content, or new
Hmm.
on newer platform or a bigger platform. So that should always be your way of going. It's not that you are successful on Instagram. No, I'll call myself an Instagrammer and I'll just do this. You
Hmm.
can't. If you say that,
Hmm.
you are gone. You are already gone, because it is so fast that you will see
Interesting.
a content creator every day, new content creator who is making it big every single day.
So, is there a way, for example, let's say someone has about 200, 300 pieces of content already on their Instagram handle, right? Or somewhat of that number.
Mm.
Now, would you say that it would be sensible for someone to go back to the data and see
Mm.
the numbers
Mm.
and say, okay, this piece of content or these pieces of content were interesting, got a lot of views.
Mm.
Let's experiment with this and do more. Do you think that is
Correct.
also a sensible approach to
Yeah,
do?
that is really sensible to do, because you already have the numbers. Numbers don't lie. So if you have the numbers which are justifying, this kind of content will go a long way. Do that. Pay Instagram for ads initially. No content creator will say this, but I'll say that, because you have to use everything at you that you have to get to that space. Once you're viral, once people start sharing it organically, that will help. But I'll just give an advice that don't buy fake followers. That will never work. That will get your account down, because that has no engagement. First thing. Second is Instagram will think you have too many bots in your account, so it's useless. And then they'll make sure that it doesn't get viral. So pay directly to Instagram instead. Get your ads correct.
So I'm saying that if there were certain pieces of content that worked very well, for example, in the past, maybe it would be a year old or six
Yeah.
months old or 8 months old, do you think boosting them would be sensible?
Yeah, much better. If you're not sure what to post now, but if you already have a piece with you which has done well, it's better to promote it instead of creating something new that you don't have an idea about, that how it will work on Instagram.
And since you've already built a community of over 1 million plus followers on Instagram, what's the game plan forward? How do you plan to leverage these? Is there a way you want to move them offline? Will this be more on YouTube? You want to build greater numbers? Like, what's the plan after this?
See, planning with social media eventually fails. I plan to build a bigger YouTube channel so that I can vlog and earn out of just showing myself and all. It doesn't work. See, I experiment every day, seeing what can work on YouTube. But I consider myself a failure on YouTube. But I'm working towards it. I'm figuring out what to do to get to YouTube, because I believe YouTube will never die, as it has a content which will add a value to the audience. I really want to add value with my content, so I want to create something which will be like 10 minutes long or 20 minutes long, and which will educate, or we can call it infotainment, and that will get viral. So I'm working towards that now. And songs, original songs, so that see, let's see what happens. But
So
currently
there was this
I'm
one
I'm failing.
conversation. No, I think you're killing it, but I think you're killing it massively on Instagram, and I think you've
Yeah.
been you've been I mean so good in terms of leveraging. Your and I think most importantly, you've been so smart with understanding your audience. I think that has been one of the biggest things that I'm actually taking with being so laser focused. I mean, you know what category your content falls into. It's pure entertainment value. It's not like you are aware of it that you're trying to teach people or whatever. I mean, I absolutely love the clarity with which you're working, and it is very, very inspiring because at the end of the day, we get too caught up with, oh, mera content piece chalega because I've put so much heart and soul into it. Sure, absolutely, you have. But I think listening to you, I realized that you're so detached from it. Like it almost feels like मैं करके छोड़ दूंगा. Now let it take its own shape, life. It will do what it needs to do.
Not just with reels. See what movies are going through. They put in 4 5 years, crores of rupees, hundreds and crores of rupees. They don't know how it will be eventually, a hit or a flop. It's because nobody can predict what audience will like or not. But you always have to be detached from the result. You cannot be detached from the process, but you have to be detached from the result if it's audience driven, because nobody can predict it. If there was somebody who can predict it, he would have been making super hit movies. But then you have to also plan
With
for your failure. You can't just be
hmm,
detached from the results and then be, I'm detached, I'm happy, I'll create new movie. That doesn't work. You have to plan. What if it fails? How am I going to raise money for my next project? What if my Instagram account gets banned? What if tomorrow India bans Instagram like it did to TikTok?
TikTok.
What will I do? Overnight, I will be jobless. Then you have to plan for this.
Very cool. Very cool. With the daily posting of reels, is there something that you practice as, like, I mean, we often hear creators say about the word called batching, right? So do you also batch your content, or you create it daily, sit and actually do the hours of
See,
work?
I heard that word for the first time, batching. I don't know what it means. Basically, I just try to choose songs which my majority of the audience are liking. I avoid loud music. I avoid English music. My choice of song is really different from what you see on Pixoury. But that is the thing, you can't post content which you like. You have to post content what audience likes. So I always,
Very interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
So I look for recommendations from the audience. I just plan content every day. I plan content for that day on that day. It's never planned before.
Ah, okay.
Because
Okay.
if we see a audio will go viral on Instagram for just 2 3 days, and the traction will be there for only 2 to 3 days. If you post it 3 days later,
Okay.
it won't get you any views, because the
Wow.
reels which are posted earlier will always be shown, on the discovery bar. You have to always, be at it. As soon as it's trending, you have to post it. So you
So then how
cannot.
long does it take for you to, I mean, create one graphic and then sort of superlate with your motion?
So 6 to 8 hours, you can say,
On a daily basis
daily
you are
basis.
committed to doing that?
Yes.
Okay. 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 Does that not reduce as your efficiency and
Yeah,
expertise increase?
yeah, it does. It does. But then you also have to add new things to your content. You can't be just posting same kind of content. So now I'm using more tech, so I have to learn new softwares. I have to put in more to make content look better. So then the time remains the same. As soon as you get good at it, there's something new to learn. So it stays constant.
Very cool. What about choosing the kind of music you do? So you said that you have a particular taste in music,
Yeah,
but then you also said that it's about the audience,
yeah.
right? So where do you draw the line that I like this,
Yeah.
but audience likes this more?
So
Like choosing your choice versus their choice.
yeah, so generally I post a story asking for recommendations. Then I see which songs are getting recommended, often, and then just select that. That's the safest thing that you can do on Instagram. Instead of using your, oh, I like this. This song is so cool. I'll just post. Never works. Imagine you and your three friends sitting in a car. Now you are the one who is asked to play the music. If you play a song, I'm sure someone will say, skip this one, I don't like. Now imagine
Hmm.
doing this with 1 million people every single day. So you can't
Very
keep the
interesting.
choice to yourself. You have to give it to
Very
others.
interesting.
That is why whenever I post a song or my audience, they know that it is not my choice; it is their choice. So that is the reason I'm not trolled as much. That I will just.
Which is a very interesting point you've raised. I wanted to ask you this because a lot of creators like you must have also been reached out to as well. That how are you getting viral and I'm not getting viral? You must be
Yeah.
receiving like, oh, like I
Mhm.
am a pure bred artist. Like this is what means so much to me, and here you are creating shallow content and entertainment value only. How do you handle all this kind of negative influx of material, or for that matter, I mean, how do you keep your mental space clear? That
See,
everyday batching, everyday
yeah.
clearing, everyday creating.
It's not negating for me. I understand the pain that the artist has. When they say they are not getting viral because they have given their life to study that art. Now they are creating the best content that anybody can see, and it's not working. I can feel that pain, and even I'll feel pain if someone will just take a screenshot, post it as a reel, and if he gets more views than me, I'll feel bad. So I understand their pain. It's genuine pain. So I don't take it as a negative thing. I just say that I wish for you that it will get viral someday, or uh, if I try to post their content on my stories as well, if I really like that, just I'll pass on the commission work that I am getting to these artists. I do that on regular basis because I can't do commissioned work every day, as I'm spending more time in creating reels. So I give referrals to artists out there, to just at least help them financially or get new projects. I am doing that now. It's
Very
that
nice.
that also makes them help me eventually. They'll
Very,
teach me something new.
very true. Very true. So when did your first collab happen for you? Like you felt that, oh, I mean, I'm making money out of this. Like there are collab deals coming my way.
But first collab was not a paid one. I never thought I'll get paid for this. So I got a call from Saregama, the music label.
Acha.
I don't know if I should mention this, but yeah, but they called me and they were like, World Music Day is here. We want a video that will be posted on our YouTube page, and we want you to create something from our 1940s song to today. Then I was like, what just happened? The company Saregama, which is the oldest music label in India, they want me to work on such a big occasion, that too on their YouTube channel. So they told me, are you able to do this? I said, yes, I can do that. And then they were like, how much will you charge? I never thought, someone will pay. Now they are giving me a break. They are also asking me how much. I reluctantly said that, I'll charge you around 2,000 rupees. And I was like, I am asking so much of money, they'll reject. Then eventually I did it for free because I thought, they are giving me such a. I said, no, I don't need the money. Just post that video so that, it gives me a sense of validity that I am doing a good job. I was like that. Then the video was posted. It's still on YouTube, on their channel. The first
Oh,
paid
fantastic.
collab was with Smule. It's a music karaoke
Right.
app. So they paid me 6,000 rupees for three reels, and that is how it started. That time I
So
thought
this was how
6,000
long
rupees.
back?
So it was 2 years ago. Right? I was paid 6,000 rupees.
Wow. And did that feel like a lot of money for you?
Yeah, I thought I'm overpricing my art.
And
I'll tell you
from
a
doing,
joke. I'll tell you a recent joke. I won't mention the amount that now I'm charging. So I was charging X amount of money. Then I used to negotiate it because I'm not a good seller. I'm not a good salesman. So if you negotiate with me, I'll come down to zero in like 5 minutes. That's how I am. So I was charging really low, and like recently until we met at IFP, I was charging much much less than what other content creators are charging. So recently I hired a manager. He told me, boss, you're charging really really low. Other creators who are having less followers are charging much more. That is when I realized, the power that content creation has. Now I'm charging more, but until recently, I never got into the commercials because I thought,
hmm,
I'm only, up for creating an audience. I thought I'll
hmm,
start monetizing when it reaches to around 1 million of followers, and then I'll actually start. And so now I'm thinking about monetizing the account, but I'm
very
earning good.
cool.
I recently purchased a car via Instagram.
Congratulations.
So now I know how to monetize.
So that money is thanks to Instagram money.
Yeah, thanks to Instagram. Only Instagram.
Wow, wow, that is definitely massive inspiration for the listeners right here. Um, with that being said, I'm curious to know, without mentioning the brand, for example, any brand, what's the maximum you've charged so far? I know you were underpricing yourself, but what's the
Yeah.
maximum you've charged so far
So I've charged 1.5 lakhs for
for a reel?
yeah,
Okay, okay,
and that's really
and
low.
that was. I'm sure it is absolutely low, given the
Yeah,
quality of the work and the effort that you're putting in. I'm sure that is
yeah,
very very low.
yeah.
But
But
was
I've
that like
charged.
similar amount of work?
See, now I've charged 25K until recently,
Hmm.
without knowing, how much should I. That is, once you get viral, you need to hire a manager or an agency who knows about the commercial. I am not embarrassed to say that I don't know about the commercial, or I'm not a good salesperson. So now I know, and now I'm in safe hands. They'll market it much.
That is a very, very important point you've mentioned. I don't think a lot of creators, in spite of having like a decent following, also are aware of how to negotiate with brands. And that's a very, I think that's a specific skill, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Richard, like to be
yeah,
able to negotiate
yeah,
with brands on behalf
yeah,
of the
yeah,
artist or the
yeah,
creator.
yeah. But what happens with the creator is, he thinks, why would I pay you commission as a manager? Why would I pay? And I'll charge myself, I'll negotiate myself. But they fail to understand that, we are not good negotiators. We are not good salespeople. It's better to outsource it. It's better to give it to someone who knows about it, or who has passion for that particular thing.
Interesting. With a lot of creators now doing a lot of, merchandising work and starting their own apparel line, is that something on your mind as well?
I don't think I tried everything. I did drop shipping. I created T-shirts. It was called Curry Outfit. It used to give me around 30-40K a month in profit. But then you have to sell a lot of merchandise to earn that much money. So
Hmm.
basically, the margin in drop shipping, or in merch, is around 10%, and then you have to pay taxes, and then it's around 6, 6, 7%. So imagine earning 10K. For to earn 6,000 rupees, you have to sell 1 lakh rupees of merch. So just now look at the scale. If you have to earn
Agree.
30K, and then there will be returns. I've done that. It never works. It's just a hype. Some companies are trying to earn out of creators to gain some followers on social media, but it won't work.
Very, very, very
See,
interesting point. I
otherwise,
don't think.
all the superstars would have been, starting a merch line and posting. Why don't they
But
do
man,
it?
a lot of creators are right. Like I think a lot of creators starting like, yeah, their skins and mobile phone skins and like outfits and all that, like shoe line, sneaker line. Like, what are your thoughts on this? Then is
No,
that not like
it
a
won't
very
work. It's not a good business idea, I'll say. Instead,
okay?
use it somewhere else. Use your time, money somewhere else.
So like merchandising is not the way, sort of out, like
No,
in terms
it's
of
not. It's not.
scaling your revenue and the
What I'll
opportunities.
recommend all creators, the best income source you can have is by educating. Do live workshops. Give value and take money. Set a class for $1,000 or $500 as it's possible for the creator, and give them education about creating content.
But don't you think that's like a very oversaturated market because so many creator companies are
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
these
yeah,
platforms for
yeah,
creators to
yeah,
teach,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So we also had, like, for example, Divyanshu Damani of Tag
Tag
Mango,
Mango,
right, on the
yeah.
podcast
I
as well.
worked with Tag Mango. I know.
Correct. So, which is why I mentioned the similar example because I think he also mentioned that in terms of this is an offline conversation that he and I had, is that I think the competition in the coaching space of these creator platforms is way too much, right? And obviously there are certain set of creators who will make the maximum amount of money and they'll be very smaller set. So, for
Yeah,
example, you can talk about Ankur Wareko, right?
yeah,
He's completely killing the business, right? I
yeah,
mean, killing in the sense like in a positive way for
yeah,
himself
yeah,
and his team. But how many people are matching at that scale at that revenue, right? So
yeah.
do you still think that that's a possibility for even the smaller
See, you
creators to
can
make that
try.
sort of money?
You can try everything. As I told, Sam Dam Danbet, something will work. So for me, there's a mixture from where I earn money. So I do some live workshops, I do some events, I do some promos, and then kind of make money out of it. There are some Instagrammers who will just post content and create earn money. There are some who don't have that much of followers, but they are earning way more than what big content creators are by doing live workshops. As I told you, stock market experts, then experts in Facebook ads and Google ads, they are earning a lot of money on by live doing live workshops because people are genuinely interested, in learning stock market and investing their money. So it doesn't make sense not to try new streams. You should always try everything that you have and then see what works for you. But merge in general won't work because it's a like there's a tangible product involved in that. As content creators, you are giving content, you are not giving tangible product. As soon as there's a tangible product involved, then it has refunds, then it has defects, then it has all sorts of issues. You should, as a content creator, you should never get. And companies will say, we will handle all that, we'll handle the supply chain, you just have to advertise the products and say. But that doesn't work the same. People will still DM you if the product is not has not reached their place. People will still blame you, and you have to stay out of it. Try being in service sector or digital sector as much as possible. Once you get to the scale of Salman Khan or Shah Rukh Khan, then you can start being human and brands like that. But until and until then, it doesn't make sense to carry inventory.
So I think you're talking about all asset light businesses, right? Like whether that's coaching or whether
Yeah,
that's actually just using your
skill
expertise
based,
in terms of skill
skill
delivery.
based. Yeah, skill based profession.
Okay. But do you not see, I mean, as a business, for example, you mentioned music is what you want to venture out into, right?
Yeah,
As that's like an offshoot of
yeah,
understanding this business might not last for too long. Or
yeah,
YouTube, you see that there is longevity of the content instead
yeah,
of Instagram.
yeah.
So are you also not thinking that you want to take this community and leverage it somewhere else? Maybe not in a tangible business, but
Yeah,
using
yeah,
it somewhere else?
yeah. I'm trying, but it is not working because clearly people, right now are only interested in my reels. They're not interested in
Okay.
what I'm doing in my personal life or what kind of workshops that I am designing for them. They just want
Acha.
reels from me right now. So my job right now is to just give them reels, and meanwhile I'll work in background on what's the next thing that I want to do with the money that I'm earning from Instagram. So as soon as this stops,
Amazing.
then I'll present that to the audience. If even that doesn't work, then obviously I'll shift to brick and mortar business that everybody does. But you
Hmm.
have to
Hmm.
understand it's not nothing is permanent, but this is definitely short term. Instagram and short
That's a
bites.
very interesting point. Right, and also I think as you mentioned a little while back, daily posting, right? Is Reels now the only game to sort of put your energy towards, or static photos is something that people should sort of focus on as well? Like, what's your thought on that?
See, static posts are better initially because you can boost them without getting copyright strikes. You can also boost reels, but as soon as you add music from reels library, you cannot. So I'll say keep a mix at the start.
So for you, obviously, initially it worked, right? Because you
Yeah,
mentioned that the initial 20, 30 pieces of content you experimented and boosted all of them.
yeah,
But now your account is all reels,
yeah,
everyday reels,
yeah,
right? There's
yeah.
nothing static on the platform.
Nothing, nothing.
So is that a conscious choice because that's what the audience wants, or because you know that this will give me more traction?
See, there are three things that I'm not posting a static post. First reason is people are just there to watch reels, nothing else. I know that because as soon as I post it, I get a lot of comments that we are waiting for the song. Why are you posting these stupid things? Second is as a static post, what will I post? I like if I had a skill to dance or if I had skill to create content out of me, that's a luxury if you are a content creator and if you are famous for who you are, then
Okay,
then you
okay,
are at the top of the game because then you can literally do anything and people will still come and watch you. Then you are at
I see.
the superstar level because then even the promotions are limitless for you. Now for me, I am only promoting music videos and content similar to what I am already doing. I am in the niche, but I don't
Hmm.
have that luxury. But if I was a lip syncer, I would have definitely posted a lot many pictures of myself on Instagram. But now I currently don't have any. And
That's
third point is I forgot to mention that when you are posting a static post on a page, not as a celebrity or as a lip syncer whose face is famous, but if you are a page and if you start posting static images, what happens is I don't know if it's true, but I think Instagram
sure.
detects it as an ad,
Ah, okay,
and anyway it
okay.
won't have the engagement. So I avoid doing that. because if
Oh,
we see
wow.
ads have a lot of graphics in it, so I think the algo looks at it as a ad.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I don't think a lot of these points that you've mentioned, Rishiraj, has actually been unpacked on the podcast before. So I'm very, very, very happy you've been able to touch on points that were extremely useful from the tactical level for a creator on a day-to-day basis, right? And even now that I'm thinking about my own way of approaching work, like I feel that once you become Instagram famous, I think it may not be easy, but I've seen like a lot of creators now sort of, I mean, using that leverage, that cloud, that community now to YouTube, because they see that YouTube actually is like the search engine for longevity. So long tail searches are best on YouTube
Correct.
versus Instagram.
Correct.
Plus, there is a very specific need that people will go and search for when they go on YouTube versus Instagram behavior, which is all random,
Correct.
interest based or whatever.
सब
But
कुछ.
सब कुछ, that's true. So with that being said, how easy, difficult is the migration for you to YouTube, or is that
It
something
is,
part of a strategy as well?
no, it is extremely difficult. Basically, even to migrate from Instagram to Facebook is difficult, because if we look
Oh,
at the
okay.
TV of Facebook is, we have our parents on Facebook, they are not on Instagram. So now,
Actually, yeah, that's true.
suddenly when you start posting same content on Facebook, you won't get any engagement, because even I feel your target audience is more on Instagram than on Facebook. So
True.
now, if you start posting on Facebook, you have to look for the content or the pieces you already have, which will also appeal to the Facebook audience, and then start posting it there. Now, also Facebook is also turned into Instagram. Basically, now they are also promoting reels. But with YouTube, it's completely different because the aspect ratio is different. Now
Correct.
suddenly the vertical gets horizontal, and the duration gets more than 5-10 minutes. And you have to post quality content until that last minute, so that the person who is watching the entire video and not just living by watching the intro. My content is shorter than the intro of famous YouTubers. Now, now you will see
True.
the quality of the content. See, now suddenly now a million view on a reel makes no sense, because if I watch your podcast for an hour and then convert it to the seconds and see how many views it will be on Instagram, then you will see how much more views a YouTuber has, or a creator who is creating more longer duration of content has.
Okay, got it. Got it. Actually, that makes a lot of sense because I think I've also seen that people now batch these material as well into smaller content pieces too.
Yeah.
So
So
not only are
people
they getting
say I have 10 million views on Instagram. I have 1 million views. It's nothing, and I am sure even brands have not recognized this, because they feel 1 million views are too much on Instagram. It's not. Now do 1 million into 15 seconds and do like 1 lakh into an hour. Just count how many seconds they are holding the attention of the content consumer.
That's a very, very interesting point. So, if someone were to start out right now, what platform would you recommend for them to leverage on?
If you are going to add value, go on YouTube and podcast. Start that. But if you want like instant success, if you want to get instantly viral, there's nothing like Instagram, right?
Daily basis.
Daily, every day, whatever happens, you have to post.
Fantastic, fantastic. Rishiraj, this has been one of the most interesting conversations I've had on Jamsters. One
Thank
of
you.
the most raw, honest, and absolutely a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Thank you very much. I know you are busy with a lot of things, so I don't want to keep you waiting too much. But thank you for sharing all the incredible perspectives, man. It's been such a pleasure to chat with you.
Thank you so much, Hardik, for taking all out of me. I've never talked about things that I have on this podcast, but I hope it helps everybody who is watching this or listening to it.
100%, 100%. With that, friends, Rishiraj is available on Pixoury, Pixoury. So please make sure you give him a follow. He's already at 1 million plus. Let's help him reach new milestones, new goals, and keep supporting, keep helping him, keep creating an amazing community. And if you love this episode, please make sure you share it on Instagram, share it on Facebook, share it on LinkedIn. This for all the creators and all the artists out there. We've been able to unpack some incredible information on how to hack the system, and also ethically, and also ensuring that you still keep your still keep your clarity of perspective in place. With that being said, thank you, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you, Hardik. Bye.